I feel like a lot of people are flipping out about Republican Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy losing his primary to a Trump-endorsed candidate. Actually, I think he came in number 3. He did real bad. And I've seen a number of think pieces being like, oh, this proves that Donald Trump still has power. He still runs the cult. They'll do his bidding. It still proves that Republicans have to stay under his thumb or he'll destroy their careers. I don't know, I've just seen a fair number of people posting about how Cassidy losing is just a real ominous thing. It portends terrible things for the midterms. Like somehow this is evidence that what MAGA is going to sweep, that MAGA candidates are going to... What is it that people think that this means exactly, other than, oh, it's bad news, Trump is still powerful? I completely disagree. I think there's an awful lot of positives that are coming out of this result. But first off, it's important to understand why Donald Trump went for Bill Cassidy so hard in the first place. Why did he bother to back one of his opponents in the primary season? It's because Donald Trump is a petty motherfucker and he never lets go of a grudge. If you have offended him, if you have slighted him, he will hold on to it forever. And any chance, the first chance he gets to enact retribution on you, to hurt you, to make you pay, he's gonna fucking take it. Say what you will about the fascist Republican Party, Donald Trump, Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation. They know how to play the long game. They know how to wait for their moment and then strike. 6 years, 6 long years, Donald Trump has been waiting for his moment to take Cassidy down. That's because Bill Cassidy voted to convict Donald Trump in the impeachment trials after the January 6th insurrection. He did the right thing. He did the right thing. He upheld his oath to his constituents. He upheld his oath to the Constitution. And Donald Trump has been waiting to destroy him for it. Now, I'm going to be referencing here a piece that came out May 17th, yesterday, in The Guardian. It's by Chris Stein. Stein points out that Trump encouraged U.S. Rep. Julia Letlow to enter the Senate race, right? Trump was like, I got to get somebody in there who can boot Cassidy out. And apparently he thought Letlow was his girl. Right. And then, of course, Trump took to social media and tried to just completely excoriate Cassidy. On Saturday, he called him a disloyal disaster, a terrible guy. And then he said he's going to get clobbered, adding, Letlow is a winner who will never let you down. And by never let you down, Trump means never let him down, right? He demands loyalty above all else. If you want to work for Donald Trump, if you want his endorsement, if you want him to nominate you for a position, if you want to be employed by him, you have to be an election denier and you have to be a January 6th apologist. That is a requirement. That's often the only requirement to work for Donald Trump. I mean, he likes it better if you're dirty, right? If he's got shit that he can hold over you as leverage, he likes that. If he knows that you've done shady shit in the past and you're not super opposed to breaking laws when it benefits you, he knows that you're the kind of person that should come work for him. But he insists that you be an election denier. This is why when you see folks come up for nomination and they get grilled in congressional hearings, they will not say they believe Joe Biden won the election. They won't say it because if they say it, they know it. They know Joe Biden won, first of all. But if they say it, then Trump won't hire them. He'll pull their nomination, or if they're already employed, he'll fire them. He demands complete loyalty, and his number one loyalty test is around the 2020 election and the subsequent insurrection. You got to take up his talking points, even if you don't believe it, to prove that you are loyal to dear leader. Yeah, so the fact that Bill Cassidy voted to convict Donald Trump on his impeachment for the insurrection following the 2020 election where he lost to Joe Biden, Trump was going to make Cassidy pay for that no matter what. So Trump's endorsed candidate, Letlow, ended up getting just over 45% of the vote. And then John Fleming, who is the state treasurer, I don't know that much about him, he got a little over 28% of the vote. And Cassidy got less than 25. So there's going to be a runoff now, but Cassidy is knocked off because he was third place. In her speech after the election, Letlow said, I want to say thank you to a very special man who you all know, the best president this country has ever had, President Donald Trump. Girl, lick them boots. God. Oh, God, the way that people will just debase themselves. For Donald Trump, you guys, for Donald Trump, I don't understand it. I do understand it, actually. They want money and power. They're greedy motherfuckers, and they want money and power. Let me quote this little bit here from The Guardian, and then I want to talk about how I think some good things can come out of this. Speaking to supporters after the result was made known, Cassidy made a thinly veiled reference to the president, saying, "Insults only bother me if they come from somebody of character and integrity. And I find that people of character and integrity don't spend their time attacking people on the internet. Our country is not about one individual," he said. "It's about the welfare of all Americans, and it's about our Constitution." Cassidy is a physician, by the way, and I sure as fuck hope he regrets his choice to vote for RFK Jr. for Health and Human Services. He didn't want to. We know he didn't want to. There are so many people in Congress, Republicans in Congress, who don't like what Trump is doing. They don't like any of his batshit crazy uber loyalist conspiracy theory bros that Donald Trump has put in his cabinet, the incompetent boobs Donald Trump has working for him, right? There are Republicans who are legitimate legislators, and they don't like what's happening, but they go along with it. They go along with it. I talked the other day about a report where I think it was in the Politico. Don't quote me on that. I don't have the notes in front of me, but I think it was in the Politico, where insiders were saying that Republican senators are known for bitching about Donald Trump and how they don't like him. They think he's uncharismatic. They don't like the way that he treats them. They don't like what he's doing, all behind closed doors, but they'll never say it in public. And to me, I think that's just such a special level of cowardice, right? They know what the right thing is, and they're not doing it because they're making a shit ton of money in the stock market right now. They're wealthy and powerful as a result of the terrible things Donald Trump is doing. They've all sold their souls, right? To me, those members of Congress are far worse than the ideologues because they know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. But Cassidy has a few times stood up and done the right thing, and Donald Trump made him pay for it. But you guys, Bill Cassidy is still the senator. He has to finish out his term. He's still in the Senate all the way until January. And I think he could fuck shit up. I think he could come in and do a Tom Tillis times 1,000. The reason so many Republicans are afraid to go against Donald Trump is they are terrified that he will do to them what Trump just did to Bill Cassidy. Okay, well, he's done it to Cassidy. So now he has no leverage over him. None at all. It reminds me very much of Sergej Popovich in Blueprint for Revolution, where he talks about how the Serbian police would threaten to arrest you and put you in prison, and they would hold that over your head as the thing that would get you to comply. You were so afraid of what would happen if you got arrested that you did everything that you could to avoid it. But then after the first time you got arrested and went to jail, you were like, oh yeah, I know what this is like now. Okay, now this is not something that you can use. This is not something that you can hold over me as a threat because I've done it. That's where Cassidy is. He can do a Tom Tillis times 1,000. He can come in and make a fucking ruckus. I would encourage him to. If you are somebody who is a Democratic senator, ask your Democratic senator to have a conversation with Bill Cassidy. Bill Cassidy, my dude, come in and fuck it up for Donald Trump any and every way that you possibly can. You've done so much harm over the last year and a half sitting by and letting Donald Trump destroy this country. You can spend the next several months mitigating that harm, working to repair in any way that you can what you have allowed to come about in this country. You did right by us with the impeachment. Do right by us again. Do right by your constituents. Do right by the American people. Okay, that brings me to the second good thing to come out of all of this, which is that, I had somebody in my comments yesterday who said that they were really worried about these results and that it meant that MAGA was becoming powerful again because the MAGA candidate won in the Louisiana primary. Now, lest we not forget, the Louisiana legislature voted to censure Bill Cassidy for voting for conviction on Trump's impeachment. I mean, Louisiana Republicans are, folks in Louisiana, you can tell me what they're like. I'm 0% worried about Louisiana Republicans representing the attitude, the posture of American voters overall right now. No, not at all. But even more than that, did you see what the voter turnout was, you guys? Because this is where Donald Trump is like, we got to get Cassidy out, right? He's pumping it up on his social media. He's trying to inspire MAGA to get out and vote for his girl, right? Less than 30% of Republicans voted in that election. Very low voter turnout. To me, that says MAGA Republicans just aren't very inspired to get out and vote for Trump-endorsed candidates. It says they're not very inspired to get out and vote at all. So maybe there is something there when it comes to MAGA Republicans and their excitement about the midterms. or lack thereof. We need huge voter turnout. We need all of us to show up and vote in the midterms. And if they're going to have any hope of competing against us, they have to do the same. They couldn't get 30% of registered Republicans to turn out in this primary. And that's far more significant than Cassidy's loss, in my opinion.